So when we think about e-commerce, what are the different types? Let's take a look at that for a second. So e-commerce, yes, multiple types. You got business to consumer, B2C, such as Amazon. You got business to business, B2B, Grainger. They sell a lot of tools and things of that nature, parts to businesses. C2C, consumer to consumer. That's like a Craigslist or all these the other OfferUp, these different sites that you're able to buy something directly from another consumer. And in addition, we have mobile m-commerce. That's where you will use wireless mobile devices for purchasing goods and services. Like I say, it's very well suited for location-based applications and services because with that mobile device, able to track where you are, and you can get things locally, and because of the geo tracking. Now, when we think about mobile commerce, fastest growing form of e-commerce right now is mobile commerce. 4 billion, yes, I said it, billion mobile phone users worldwide. It's a lot of digital content. Like I said, many things that we do now, it's forced to a mobile market because many things now are done across apps that you can only download onto a mobile device. So like I said, you look at from 2019 to 20, what we're projected to go by 2025. The projection of the mobile commerce market is booming. Now, when we think about e-commerce business models, you got porters, e-tailers, content providers, transaction brokers. For instance, a portal, Angler or eNet, what they provide, they are advertising. That's how they generate revenue from advertising. Different e-tailers like JCPenney.com, Lowe's.com. They do traditional sales over the web. So I can sit home and I can go on Lowe's.com and buy something. I can have it delivered, or I can go to the brick and mortar store and pick it up. Content providers, whether it's Netflix, iTunes, different courses you may be, like Udemy, LinkedIn, Coursera, whomever it may be. Transaction brokers, eSwab, a lot of your different banks and industry where now they make their money while they charge by transaction. Different types of service providers, such as Amazon Web Services, Bluehost. I use Bluehost. I like them. And they make their money through subscriptions and fees and advertising. And then you have what we call community providers like Grubhub, Nextdoor, Craigslist, those different things. And they make money through local services advertisement. So different business models and how they make their money with those different models. So I'm just going to keep going here, talking about planning an e-commerce website. And so when you have a website, e-commerce, you have to have some type of website, some type of web presence to be able to have the community see your goods and services. One of the things you want to think about with respect to that is a team, okay? Unless you are just the techie guy, you may be the individual who have these skill sets. Typically not, because if you are if you're looking into e-commerce, you're really probably more focused on the content of what you're trying to sell, what you're trying to market, as opposed to the techie back end. So that's why it helps to have a team with the skill sets that you're going to need. Whether it's obtaining what is your business objective. By far, that's probably one of the hardest ones to grasp. What am I trying to accomplish? What's the vision? What am I trying to do? Because unless you establish this, these others become very difficult. Now that I understand what my business objectives are, now I need to understand, have someone on my team who has the knowledge to talk about it from a systems level. Okay, you want to do this type of business, because depending on what type of e-commerce you're doing is going to drive the functionality and the information requirements that's going to be on your back-end network and on your website. Now, once you figure that out, because let's say if you were doing music, you may not even want to build your own website because, excuse me, the company that publishes your music, your publisher, such as CD Baby, they provide their own web services for you. But if you want to do a consumer-to-consumer type of e-commerce, then yeah, you may need your own website, Weebly or WordPress or Wix or whatever it may be. A lot of options out there. And then that's like say, so now you have to look at, okay, I've got it. I want my own website. Here's my business objectives, things of that nature. Now we got to start looking at your website budget. Hey, I got a misspelled word here. WBE. That should be your website budget. How much is it going to cost? Most of these, like I said, they have a kind of set price. They have an entry level price. If you just want a static page, many times they offer a free service. But you get what you pay for. Many times with that free service, your URL is going to be very long because they're going to advertise in your URL. So let's say you want booksarethree.com. Well, with their free services, you're not going to just get booksarethree.com. Okay, you're going to get booksarethree at wordpress.com or something like that. So it's going to get longer and longer. So that's why now you may want to budget to get their services to where you can have your own domain name. If you get the free, they're going to give you a domain name, but that domain name is going to be a subdomain of their site. And so from a business perspective, it kind of goes, it doesn't look as professional as if you have your own domain name. And really the biggest thing to consider here is security and privacy. That is huge, especially if you're doing transactions. If you are accepting, credit card payments and other types of payments across your website, security is going to be a premium. Now, I will say most of the large guys who do hosting, like Bluehost and those, they provide a very good security back end as well as privacy. So those tools are built in, but that's something you got to, again, crank into your budget. Okay, they make it sound easy, but it's not free. It's not cheap. So be aware of that. So like I say, so when we talk about business objectives, these are the capabilities that you're going to do. Your system objectives, like we talked about earlier, that's the technology you're going to need to achieve those objectives. First, are you going to need a shopping cart? Are you going to take some other type of payment, systems? The information requirements, how much data do you plan on processing? Are you plan on doing secure credit cards, multiple payment options? Are you just going to be posting things kind of on a static site? Will people be able to download content from your site? And so when we think about building this web front, it's, some option. We can build it completely in-house, or you can completely outsource it, or you can do a hybrid of the two. And this is just kind of a metric showing, that if I build a site and host a site, because there's two things you got to remember. I can build the greatest website in the world. However, it has to be hosted. Someone has to host that site for it to have access to the rest of the internet. So, I may build my website in WordPress. However, I may need a company like Bluehost or Amazon or someone else to actually host that site once it's built and host the domain name, and all those components. And no matter which way, and like I said, it could be a hybrid of both, where I build my own site and host it somewhere else. Or I could, if I want to, yes, I could actually host it in-house. I could actually build my own infrastructure to host my domain name and everything in-house. That gets expensive. Okay, from a pricing, this gets expensive doing it in-house, but the good thing about it, you have 100% control over everything, all the way down to where if you outsource the hosting and you outsource the building, that's probably your most cost-effective option and least technical option. However, you have less and less control over the outcome of that. So when we think about budgets, websites can be expensive or they can be cheap. It just depends on what you want, right? You get what you pay for. So, and a lot of your website cost is the initial development, yes. However, content creation, content delivery, back-end maintenance, security, all of those things. Something like hardware, if you're not hosting it yourself, then you don't have to worry about hardware because you're going to pay someone else, like an Amazon, a Rackspace, or someone else to do that business for you. However, content, maintaining, refreshing content. A website can't be static. You have to go in and update your content every so often. Keep it up to date. Keep it correct. Be sure that it's efficient. Because a poorly written website or a poorly constructed website can actually cause you to lose business. If I click on a link and I sit there and I get to the spinning wheel, waiting for something to happen, I'm going on. That's what they call stickiness. People are only going to stay on your site for just a few seconds, because if I got to wait, trust me, there's another website out there, there's another content provider, there's another e-commerce service that's going to get me what I want and get it to me quicker. So stickiness is something to be very aware of. All right, so when we come back, we're going to finish and wrap this up with security and